Good afternoon and hello, everyone. My name is Rich Longo, your host for today's webcast here at Flycast Partners. And I'd like to thank you for joining us for another presentation, Flycast Partners presentation. Today, we are very fortunate to have Matt Arnold of Freshworks showing us the Freshworks customer experience. This is something brand new for Flycast Partners, and we're excited to share this information with our audience and what the customer experience can do for your organization. So Matt Arnold is the evangelist, so to speak, of the customer experience at Freshworks. And I'll let him introduce more about Freshworks a little later. But before we get started, let me introduce Flycast Partners. Flycast Partners offers best-in-class implementation services and training in IT service management, IT asset management, IT operations management, IT security, enterprise service management, and workload automation spaces, all using ITIL best practices. Our professional services team has nearly 5,800 professional services engagements, both on-site and remote. And as a company, Flycast Partners has nearly 1,300 regular customers all throughout Canada and the United States, all throughout North America. I encourage you to reach out to us at 844-FLYCAST. That's 844-359-2278. You can visit us live on our website Monday through Friday during normal business hours, 8:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and we are happy to chat. Our IT experts are standing by just for you to answer any questions you might have, get you data sheets, white papers, that support you might be looking for your tool, remote administration services, professional services, whatever that request is, or if you just want to chat about something in IT, they're happy to chat with you. That's what they're there for. Or if you're a little bit on the shy side, simply email us at info@flycastpartners.com. During today's presentation, we will be taking questions. Matt will answer as many of these questions as time allows at the end of our presentation today. So please type those questions in the question section of this GoToWebinar platform, and I'll read those off for Matt. So without further delay, I am going to go ahead and share our presentation here. And we're going to let Matt go ahead and start presenting for us.
Great, thanks, Rich. It's really a pleasure to be here today and to get to talk to all of you. I'm here to talk about accelerating service excellence, specifically through the power of an omni-channel customer engagement strategy. So I'm Matt Arnold. I'm an enterprise solution engineering manager at Freshworks. We partner with our customers to understand their technical needs, their business goals and objectives, and we help in collaboration with our sales and our partners like Flycast bring that into reality. I'll pause here for a second. So I've been in the industry quite some time. Have had background at Salesforce and Oracle as well. Before that, I was a fifth grade teacher down in very South San Diego. So I love presenting, and this is a very fun opportunity for me. But worked a lot with call centers, across B2B, across B2C, variety of industries, from all shapes, all sizes as well, some in-house, some out-house as well. We'll talk a little bit about Freshworks, and I'll spend a tiny bit of time just talking about our products and our offerings, but today is much more about the omni-channel strategy and experience, and hopefully leave the impression that together with a partner with Flycast, we can add that value, discover where you are trying to grow in terms of your omnichannel presence, how you're best supporting your customers, whether they be employees, whether they be end customers, B2B, B2C, we can offer value and help. So we've been around since 2010. We're founded in Chennai, India. We have over 4,000 employees now, experienced tremendous growth for 50,000 customers, 52,500 growing, that we get to partner with, and we're fortunate to call consultative business partners as well. And we've maintained a very fast, impressive 49% LTM growth rate. We have enterprise grade applications across the board, supporting all sizes, as we said, and we really know omni-channel experiences quite well. Want to go to the next slide? And just the obligatory fan slide, just to show you that we work with a variety of different industries across the board. And again, I'll point out it might be sales organizations with 10 inside sales members. It might be enterprise organizations with 1,000 agents that are both sales, that are marketing, that are support as well. we can support, deliver, and empower your customer experience goals. And then on to the next slide. And we'll focus around that omni-channel experience, again, more from a strategy side than a product side today. I'd be more than happy to meet together and talk from a product side around your goals and objectives and further discussions. But that from our area of expertise, it really covers across the board. So we do have customer experience applications and omni-channel suite that has all these channels built in to have a seamless customer experience, but that extends to sales. It extends to those marketing teams as well. We believe that a unified customer record, it counts for all of these things. And again, a customer might be external, it might be internal as well. I work with customers quite often are companies that are trying to deliver that employee experience to enable retention, to enable efficiency, to help them sell more, to help them deliver on their goals and objectives better. So from an IT strategy perspective and an HR management perspective, we do that as well. And it's all powered by our Neo platform, which empowers companies we partner with to customize, extend, and unify digital experiences. So essentially what that means is better customer engagement, superior employee engagement experiences with an ecosystem of amazing partnerships with Flycast and thousands of apps and shared services. The marketplace component of this, both from a public applications and private built applications as well, really helps us deliver rapid time to value, which is a huge differentiator for Freshworks. We're able to take those complex use cases and not necessarily start from scratch. We can enable what you already have and bring that into that agent experience, so it's supporting whoever your end customer might be with a seamless view without having to jump and screenshot between multiple different screens and desks. We do it very quickly as well. Rich, back to you.
And that's going to lead us to our first poll, Matt. And the first poll is, which option best describes your current customer experience strategy? So I'm going to launch that out, folks, and go ahead and give us your answers. What are you doing today in regards to your customer experience? We've got some votes coming in here pretty quick. We'll give this a minute and a half or so, give everybody an opportunity to respond. We want to thank everybody for taking time out of your busy day to join us today. It's very much appreciated. We understand how busy it can be, especially on a Thursday in IT. So thank you so much, folks. We've got almost 50% of our folks voting. We'll give it a couple more. We'll give about 45 more seconds. Try and see if we can't get the entire audience to participate for us today. Interesting results. Going to be interesting when we share these, that's for sure. 20 more seconds, about 25 more seconds. Get your vote in, folks. Get those votes in there. Okay, and about 10 more seconds, and we'll take a look at what our poll results are. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and close out our poll. Okay, and let's share those results with the audience. So are you surprised by these results at all, Matt?
I'm actually surprised that the second option is as high as it is. This is change management, and delivering on that internal and external experience is a very difficult thing. So I think that any answer is fantastic, right? I would certainly want to have further discussions, and I strongly believe that the last answer is not a great one, because it is a differentiator, and we'll talk about why. But that's okay. Like, reactive is, when I talk to customers, this is probably the most common one that we talk to. And phone has been around for, phone is not going away. It is, we can do a number of strategies to limit and make that experience more efficient and enable self-service, and we'll talk about things like that. But phone and email are still channels that fit into that omni-channel experience. The reactive part, a lot of customers and companies struggle with that. They really do. It's understanding who our end users are, what their challenges are, where their friction points are in that experience. If it's an employee trying to get an asset approved or access to an application, if it's a B2C customer having trouble bringing in an order and getting help on a return potentially. Those are complicated and complex issues. I hope that we'll talk about things that get you excited to move towards that middle, that customer-focused omni-channel strategy. But it's a great place to start. And bots, of course, bots are part of that overall experience as well. Okay, great. If we want to go to and thank you for your participation on that. I think those are very fascinating results. Richard, you want to go to the next slide? Oh, the current trends. Okay, you're on it. Great, thank you. So everything is moving towards an omni-channel support. We'll talk about where some of the challenges lie in that, especially in today's time. But I think of 43% of customers are open to be paying more for that greater convenience, and essentially the same for a friendly and welcoming experience. According to Gartner, 1 billion service tickets will be raised automatically by customer-owned bots, which is exciting and an amazing development over history. And business growth, mobile optimized experiences, having those channels, basically meeting customers, internal or external, where they are at the time of need, and allowing them to self-serve when that ability is there. And if it does need to be escalated, they talk to someone who knows them, who understands the background, and who can go straight to the problem solving and issue. And customers expect that personalization. I'll tell you a quick story on this. I am certainly in that camp where I would pay more for a better experience. And I'm someone who greatly appreciates the ability to self-serve. The last thing I want to do is pick up the phone and call support. Probably the opposite with my mom, who just loves being on the phone, and she'll ask a customer service agent how they're doing, what they're doing over the weekend. And it's an expensive call for the company, but she's going to have a great experience in that way. I was recently buying airline tickets, and I did it at one of the discounting online flight options, and it was several $100s cheaper for myself and my partner. We were going out to a wedding. I was trying to get my TSA, my known traveler number, on our tickets so that we could kind of skip through the line there. The experience of dealing with that company makes me heavily regret that decision. The next ticket I'm buying, I will pay a couple $100s more if I need to, if I can ensure self-help if I need to. I had to call twice. The first time was an hour and a half, and they eventually called me back when we were basically falling asleep. And I wasn't treated with the most empathy. After that time, the agent didn't really know who I was. And I'm sympathetic because they didn't have the tools at their fingertips either to have our order history right there, to have our tickets essentially, and understand where the gap is and how they can help. We actually got disconnected. I had to do a second phone call, so it was pretty rough. There wasn't a self-service option. There wasn't bot enablement. I couldn't even chat. Chat is the highest CSAT channel by average. I think that would have been easily solved with the chat as well. So they lost my business moving forward, and I know my phone calls were pretty expensive for their call center as well. So we want to go to the next slide. And this is really what happens when companies are putting the customer at the center of their omni-channel strategy. It creates tremendous trust and loyalty. We talked about customers being willing to pay more for that better experience. It matters in employee engagement too. If employees feel like their teams are supporting them, and it's often remote, we're going to talk about that in a moment as well, but they feel like they're known and their challenges and their issues are understood and can be addressed with that trust and that empathy. Employees stay longer, customers stay with that brand longer, and that really matters. It's from a training, from a retention standpoint, it's incredibly valuable. If we talk about more of a B2C mindset, historically, it's 20 to 25 times more expensive to acquire a new customer. You want to keep doing that. That's a very important lifeline of the business, but retaining those customers absolutely matter too. And then bringing in those operational efficiencies, which really is that omni-channel strategy, all in one unified customer record, understanding that employee experience, that end customer experience, so we know their challenges, we can help. Going to go to the next slide. And that's harder now more than ever, right? Digital support and I would say remote support. It really is the new normal. So 76% of customer service functions specifically have the majority. So think of that, 4 out of 5, 80 to 100% of their staff are fully remote. So Are they trained? Are they empowered with bot assistance? Are they empowered with next best action? Are they empowered with just a unified record of that employee experience or that customer experience? So as soon as it comes in, they can address it with empathy and efficiently. The empathy piece, extremely important as well. We are naturally, I would say, as humans, more prone to be a little impatient if we are already frustrated and we do have to pick up the phone and use a traditional channel, which sometimes we will need to do, right, for things that cannot be self-service. So addressing that with empathy is a challenging thing, but it's vastly important to improve that experience and basically create that delightful moment by turning a customer into a challenged customer or employee into an advocate. And calls are, we talked about that poll earlier, phone and email, reactive. Again, I work with so many companies who are at that point, and it is better than not offering those channels at all for support. However, there's a very old 80-20 rule from Forrester. It says from a self-service perspective, sometimes 80% of your common questions can be answered by 10 up-to-date knowledge-based articles. And bots empower that. Chats can empower that as well. It doesn't have to be a massive build all at once to start bringing out those experiences. And this doesn't even include that proactive nature from like B2Cs, from a shopping cart abandonment, from a proactive chat or a proactive bot, to make sure somebody who is maybe a parent who's working from home, who wants to complete a purchase but has to go pick up the kids at soccer practice. If they're stuck and they don't have answers right there where they are, they're going to abandon that experience. So proactive matters in this as well. But key message is that digital remote support, I would say, is very much a new normal, and that is especially challenging when customers don't feel known and internal support teams sometimes lack those tools to have the next best action and all the customer information right at their fingers. And if we go next, I'll spend a couple of seconds on these. These all pretty much say the same thing, which is very interesting, right? It's companies that focus on CX, especially now, especially where we have been in the last year and a half and counting, are succeeding in generating higher revenue. The bottom right, very interesting. 59% of companies with the CEO involved in CX report higher revenue compared to 40% without. Brands, this is a little B2C, but brands with superior customer experience bring in almost 6 times more revenue than competitors that lag in customer experience. Omni-channel support, again, meeting customers where they are, from mobile, from messaging, from chat. Again, chat's historically the highest CSAT generator. Creates those moments of wow and those delightful experiences, and it is a differentiator. It's a differentiator from an end customer or an employee experience as well, especially now in this remote environment more than ever.
And that takes us to our next poll question. I'm going to go ahead and launch it. What do your service teams struggle with the most? So let's go ahead and launch this and see what everybody's answers are. All right, we'll give this about a minute and a half, folks, and try and get everybody's answers in there. Boy, it is all over the place, guys. Keep sending in those responses.
Rich, it looks like that first question is a little cut off for me, but it should be navigating technology to find the right information efficiently.
Huh, that's interesting. It shows up on the view. In case everybody can't see it, navigating technology to find the right information efficiencies, feeling empowered to deliver the best experience, unclear performance and metric expectations, and handling a high volume of incoming requests. And we'll give this a few more seconds, folks, about 15, 20 seconds or so. We've got most of you voted. Keep those votes coming in. And about 9 more seconds, and we'll close the poll out and take a look at the results. The results are kind of all over the place. Got a couple stragglers there. Good. Thank you. Thank you for voting. All right, and we're going to close this poll out and share those poll results. Your thoughts on those results?
Yeah, it's everywhere. Very interesting. Okay, well, I'll go through them one by one then. So I've sat with a lot of call center agents that are supporting either employees or B2C, D2C, B2B, some combination of both. And I have seen sticky notes. I've seen an endless amount of tabs open. Sometimes there are multiple chat tools open potentially. There's the term swivel chairing is essentially it's swiveling the chair to one screen to another. I even have seen engagement where I was working with a apparel and retail company, fairly large, won't mention the name, but the agent had a wheel on their desk, and it was this is not a best practice. This was a wheel of emotion, and they were so frustrated they decided whatever the wheel dictates is how they're going to treat that next interaction, which is not ideal for the customer experience, right? But they were very much struggled with siloed information and frustration. They wanted to help, so but they essentially reached a point of no return and frustration and went to the wheel for guidance. It's tough. It's very tough. So collaboration tools we'll talk about, but be able to one, have that unified experience so that I know my end customer, whether it be employee, internal, external, whoever that is, be able to have actionable exchange of information if I'm processed and return, or even if it navigates me directly where I need to go. From a bot perspective, a lot of customers that I talk to interpret that straight as end user facing bots on a website. It's a big part of it, and it's extremely important. And we work with a lot of customers to have a great solution there. But internal agent assistant bots are equal important because it can point agents. So think about my frustrating phone call earlier. Can point them to the right article that can have them help me pretty seamlessly, or could recommend next best action. Hey Matt, go here and be able to log in and ideally click edit and add this information to the ticket. That empowerment is what we want to strive for. It creates that better employee engagement, which impacts retention, which reduces training costs and onboarding costs, and really enables, if you're talking to someone for regardless of the support need, if they're 3 months on the job and they have tools that empower them that are easy to use, information's all there in one place. 3 months on the job or 3 years on the job, they can deliver a similar great experience. And that in turn impacts the customer, of course. Retention's a big piece of the third one. Unclear performance. I think that's true from almost any role and capacity, especially from customer service, which is very, very difficult, and it's a tough role to be in. But understanding how they're measured and how to grow and how to improve and what that internal trajectory is can keep employees very motivated with that. High volume. That's the constant struggle that I hear very often. There's not a secret sauce to this. The strategies to help enable it are really understanding where those call drivers are, and then which of those drivers can be self-served. Is that a technology enabler? Is that a business process change? The ones that do need to call in, how do we make sure it is routed to the right person, that the training is there to make sure that's handled efficiently, and that we're reporting on gains and challenges, and using that data that we're getting from all of our incoming requests, including phone or email or chat, and using that to create self-service opportunities or create opportunities for agent assistance or collaboration opportunities, using that data to promote that better experience. So I think segues pretty well into our next slide. Okay, absolutely. There is a traditional belief. Sometimes it can always be impacted. Sometimes it can be changed. Sometimes it cannot be changed. It can just be influenced a little bit. That omni-channel support, rather than being a differentiator, it is sometimes seen as a true cost center, where leaders in that space, leaders that I'm sure I'm speaking to today, some have the seat at that decision-making table. Some have a little bit more of a challenge getting there, which I certainly understand. And if it's phone heavy and it's email heavy, those are certainly traditional methods of support. And as I said, they're not going away. And there's a feeling out there sometimes that more ways, more channels can be expensive. It can be risky. Everything points us to a great customer experience is actually a competitive differentiator, both from an acquisition and a retention standpoint from internal and external employees alike. It is a way to create those operational efficiencies, increase revenue, and again, I mentioned those retention points. It's really fascinating that 1 in 3 customers actually walk away from a brand that they love after one bad experience. I'd like us to internalize that for a second and see if it applies. It applies to us directly. I can think of a number of brands. We're all customers somewhere, right? A number of brands that I love and I'm passionate from a clothing standpoint, from a audio device standpoint as well. If I'm getting a rough customer experience, I certainly will switch. So I think I do fall in that camp as well. And then survey service leaders report that as much as 40% of today's live volume could actually be resolved in self-service channels. So that, again, that points back to that 80-20 rule, that it doesn't have to come all at once. And we'll talk about some strategies on how to get there. We do work with customers who say, I'm ready for a full omni-channel offering and let's go. And here are the business drivers and how it's going to impact. And we get there. Crawling, walking, and running traditionally is a good method to get in there too. So integrating that phone and email, getting away from those shared inboxes, getting to support requests where all the information is captured at once and there's not as many back and forth to miss key pieces of information, and having that unified view and then knowing what you want to report on. Those really are steps to drive towards not just profit center. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is just a business mission critical piece of your organization that is a differentiator. So steps towards getting to that omni-channel excellence. Of course, from an end goal, implementing omni-channel strategies to meet customers where they are with relevant information. It's a lot to get there. And again, it's not flip a switch and turn it on, although we want our customers to feel like it's that experience. So it starts often with self-service. And from a bot perspective, being able to pull from those self-service, be able to pull from internal tools. We have technology with Flycast, we can enable that technology, but it's important to understand where the challenges and the friction points are so that you're getting the most value and delivering that delightful experience based on that. Again, that internal capacity from an agent side is amazingly important as well. So having all the tools in one place, having all the customer channels, simply a unified view so that we know what someone called about previously, and we know that they emailed us about a similar issue or they didn't. That's a big frustration point in a lot of call centers that I've sat side by side with, where email siloed, phone siloed, they're trying chat and that's siloed. Has to be unified because that delivers that I know the customer and I know their expectations. And then I'm getting some coaching and some assistance from the tool in an easy place to understand the next best action, even if I'm a new agent or someone that is much more experienced. And then measuring those KPIs. It's about reporting to key other teammates on the business stakeholder side to lobby and gain more omni-channel excellence and channels and things that you need to promote those key business drivers. But it's also to make data-driven decisions. So, why do bots help us? Why do chats help us? Are we seeing evidence when we're trying something in an increase in CSAT? Are they doing an increase in Net Promoter Score where they're going to recommend either from an internal side working for this employer's They pay well, and they really support us remotely or externally. I had this experience. It was a wow moment. It was delightful. I would definitely recommend that. And then taking steps and understanding the friction points in that experience. That could be customer journey mapping. Oftentimes, support organizations and IT might be siloed, and that's okay. Even understanding where those questions are coming to which team and where in their journey throughout that buy-own cycle, because it could be sales related or marketing related as well. Where is the friction point? What is the emotional effect from that customer? What technology are they struggling with? And then what are the top 2 or 3 use cases around that? And then how do we solve that with enabling technology? Again, handling the most frequent challenge points immediately and addressing those top, and then continuing to improve and using the data to improve on it. Solving those top issues, again, can lead to that better experience. That really leads to smart customer support for that digital first world, that digital first customer. So it is about proactive, and that's empowering both agents and customers as well with those guided journeys and things that they are presented to do, not to ask them to fill out additional things from a friction standpoint, but to make it a seamless request when they do have to escalate beyond self-service or a bot and interact with an empathetic agent who's willing to help them. Again, AI powered, having that prediction and that insight. These are, again, it takes steps to get there. These are areas that we would define as that excellent digital first omni-channel experience. So being adaptive based on the data and having those responses, those feedback be personalized. And it's about accessibility. It's about meeting customers where they are. So it could be mobile, it could be SDK in app, it could be from a channel perspective, it could be from an in-store perspective. That's certainly relevant and a piece here. We are seeing more and more online-driven experiences, especially during the past few years. E-commerce rates spiked tremendously. In-store still matters, and the magic in that secret sauce where companies ultimately want to get to, often that I speak to, is if I am a customer and I go in-store, this is less employee-driven. This is the customer example. But if I'm a customer and I go in-store, they can understand and look up and see my support experiences when I did call an email and that was answered somewhere else, or vice versa, because maybe someone in store helped me log a request and an issue and we got it escalated and figured it out. So as I said, wanted to focus today very much mostly on the concept and what we're seeing in terms of trends and drivers in terms of omni-channel support. We do enable that. I mentioned from a platform perspective across CX and CRM and EX. Specifically from a CX perspective, we do have an omni-channel offering that empowers customers to seamlessly deliver messaging, very quick and easy to use bots that leverage self-service that can data dip into multiple tools, a great support desk with that AI built in, great reporting beyond that to deliver those KPIs that are data driven and make changes based on that. And from a contact center perspective, to pull in both telephony, either it's ours or another telephony vendor that you have as well, to make sure that if a phone call comes in, I understand past emails, past chat, past interactions from my employee or my end customer, and be able to help them where they are. I'll talk about a couple of quick examples, and I'll speed through because I want to get to your questions as well. But Teletrack was a great example. Interesting use case. So fleet tracking software that tracks 500,000 vehicles across the world, right? And when things go wrong, there's in-house customer service, there's outsourced contractors that need to collaborate and come together as well. So with partnering them, we were able to help get to an average response time of just about a half hour, which is tremendous, and 90% SLA adherence. It's very important. So SLA, again, setting that expectation on when we will respond, when we will be able to solve that issue and get back to you, and actually hitting that is a great performance excellence. And then one more really quick, Decathlon, I think we're all are familiar, but big French sporting goods retailer, 1,500 plus stores around the world. They were able to leverage Freshworks to unify that customer experience and bring in those channels across email, web, chat, social, and phone, and track both in-store and online feedback in one place, so they know their customer, and then resolve queries really quickly by bringing in. They actually had in-house CRM systems already, but integrating that in and making sure that experience is seamless back and forth with sales and support led to an increase in customer satisfaction. And again, great SLA adherence as well. I'll just mention on this one, the collaboration piece for both of these examples, very important, because if you think of a team like billing or finance or specific components of IT, they're not necessarily going to be living in a omni-channel solution from an agent standpoint. They have their day jobs. That's not part of the day job, but having those collaborating abilities, so seamless integration with Slack, being able to push and ask users that own those departments questions that are specific and get an answer, have the agent get an answer without having to leave their day-to-day, which is that omni-channel solution, allows them to respond faster to that employee or that customer and really helps enable that scalable experience.
All right, so we'll go ahead and get started with questions. And Nick, I want to thank you for your comment on the poll. I appreciate you reaching out to us like that. First question: how do companies entering the customer experience space choose the right tool to invest in?
Yeah, it's a great one. One that we so a couple of things I'll highlight that we covered a little bit. It's really so we first of all defining who that customer is. So it might be employee, it might be B2B, B2C combination, right? But understanding their journey, what tools they are interacting with, essentially putting ourselves in their shoes and having almost that secret shopper experience. Like, what is their day in the life interacting with a experience? It's a buying experience, from a marketing to a promotion to trying to apply a discount to an order to maybe a return. Where in that side are they struggling with technology? What impact is that having on them? And then what are our top use cases around that? Solving those and starting there and just improving, right? So understanding those friction points and the technology enables a better experience to reduce those friction points. But it's really important to have that be very targeted around those use cases and business goals and objectives. And again, the 80-20 rule, self-service is a great way to start. And multi-channel going into omni-channel is a great deliverer of that. And sometimes the initial step is just unifying those sideload channels into one efficient place to give customer experience teams just a better seamless view of their customer interaction.
Next question: which top features do companies look for in a customer experience product in 2021?
Yeah, I think we saw that in the poll question coming from your teams today. There were a lot of bots, right? That's becoming a very popular theme. Self-service, integration requirements with legacy or homegrown solutions, and for agent recommendations, so essentially a next best action. Those are key features that both the industry is pointing to, and we hear from our customers every day, and work with them to leverage our solutions to solve those specific use cases.
How important is it to track metrics in the customer experience?
It's everything. It's everything. It is that cost center to business critical differentiator for the brand. It's so to speak. The proof is in the pudding, as some would say, but the proof is in the KPI. So retention, acquisition, CSAT, Net Promoter Score. Will you recommend us? And those efficiency metrics are absolutely huge. How are we doing on handle times? How are we doing on positive or negative effect based on that? How many issues can we solve in one resolution versus many? What happens if we want to interact and escalate with other teams? What are the handle times on that? Are we getting support where we need? and then having that in a very seamless, easy to use reporting tool that shouldn't require multiple business analysts to digest. It should just work, right? I think that's the expectation, that the tool just works, the metrics are there, and if I want to make an addition, I can clone it, and I can make an easy change on that and automatically send it out to my key stakeholder teammates.
And how does one scale their customer experience as their company grows in a post-pandemic world? Great question.
Yeah, yeah. Great question. Not an easy or one answer, right? But we'll talk about general themes, and of course, it depends on your company experience, what goals and objectives you're trying to accomplish from a omni-channel excellence, from a customer experience standpoint. But setting up those solutions that can scale, meeting customers or end users where they are, right? So from a mobile perspective, that's very clear, and setting expectations internally and externally as well. And I mean by expectations, proper SLAs, right? So if we're going to enable chat, let's have it on there when people are available to take an incoming chat. Same with telephony, getting to that quick agent and resolution, and pushing users or guiding them, let's say, better to self-service when it is a self-service option, so that when the phone call comes in, it can be focused on an area that needs to be handled on the phone. It's driving that as much as you can. So again, more things that can be self-service, promote that scalability, because then you're having less inbound requests. They're still going to come there. They're going to come from multiple channels, but hopefully after a partnership where you're moving towards that goal of having one seamless view. It's a great place to start, right? And if it's phone and email, let's bring them into one place, right? And get that really right and measure the effect on that, and then bring in self-service and start from there, right? That lens towards scalability, it takes time, and it needs to be backed up with the metrics. And it all is defined by what you're trying to do from a business perspective. But it starts slow, be measurable, and solve those specific issues that are coming in the most frequently.
Very good. Thank you so much for your presentation today, Matt. And we have run out of time. And folks, if you do have additional questions or want some additional information about the Freshworks customer experience, please reach out to us at 844-FLYCAST. That's 844-359-2278. Chat with us live on our website, Eastern Time, normal business hours. We have IT experts standing by, just waiting to talk to you. You can also email us at info@flycastpartners.com. Please, folks, enjoy the rest of your week, and we appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to be with us today. Matt, I definitely appreciate you. I know that you're very busy over there at Freshworks, so thank you again for your great presentation.
Oh, I thank everyone attending and who was available. I know how busy everything is, and I hope this was valuable. I hope there were a few takeaways around steps towards building that omni-channel excellence. And I'd love to hear more. I'd love to hear more on what is important to your business, right? And how can those issues potentially be solved? That's something we can all work together on addressing.
And we'll be happy to get everybody in sync and try to help folks with that customer experience. Until our next broadcast, I would ask that everyone stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time around.